Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and the Heat are on the verge of blowing a 3-0 lead. Or are they? Patrick, what did you see from the Celtics team, and are they good enough right now to come back?
Yeah, so Heat are in trouble. Heat culture out there, we're on the hot seat. It turns out that the Miami Heat have turned ice cold. Look, they are in trouble. The Celtics are getting a little bit lucky on their comeback. But Josh, we've talked about it before. What do you need in the playoffs, and what did the Phoenix Suns not have? They did not have a bench. Well, the Celtics bench is not playing great, but they still won. I still like the Heat in Game 6.
Now, here's the thing, Patrick. You have to remember, there has never been an instance in the entire NBA history where a team has come back from down 3 games in the playoffs. But if we know anything, that just means we're due for one.
We are. It's about time. You know, history's meant to be broken.
I mean, we for years, I was always preached to. Dave Klein always told me, he said, a 16 seed will never beat a 1 seed.
Will never happen.
It's a guaranteed win.
Mark it down in your bracket. That's 4
happen.
guaranteed wins.
And then now, in the past 3 years, we've seen it twice. So things can change. Things can change. That being said, I can't see it happening over the next 2 games. The Heat to lay an egg, the Celtics to play as well as they've played. And if it does happen, it's going to beg the question, is Jimmy Butler actually Michael Jordan's son? Because last time I checked, Michael Jordan never blew a 3-0 lead, and he never would.
He never would. That's not in the genes. We don't even need to have any type of proof that Jimmy Butler is not his son. We just have to look at the fact if he did blow a 3-0 lead.
Michael Jordan's sons right now are going, please, Jimmy, please blow the lead. Please blow the lead.
Yeah, because how would you feel if you're Michael Jordan's sons and then you're not good at basketball, but Jimmy Butler might be his son and is good at basketball? So if he blows a 3-0, we can end this conversation.
If they do blow it, I mean, he's going to take it on the shins for the rest of his life because he talked a lot of smack in the 3 games prior. I mean, you saw in the stands already, fans going,
he did.
Calling timeout for him.
Yeah, he was calling, yeah.
I mean, it was a rough look.
Hey, J-Butt, get it done in Game 6. That's all.
That's all we're saying. Just get it done. Hey, Game 6 in Miami.
Yeah.
You just got a home court. Come on.
You get the home weather advantage. We know it's hot inside that arena.
You gotta play. I mean, listen, Florida teams have been playing the home weather advantage for years.
Mm-hmm.
And so
why would it change now?
Exactly. So hey, you get it done. You got this, because if Boston is the first team to come back from a 3-0 deficit, it might be the worst thing that ever happened in sports.
And people would forget about the Bruins. Here on this, we will not forget about the Bruins.
How could we forget about a team that was the greatest team of all time?
Greatest team of all time.
You're right. We won't forget about it. Okay, moving on to the NFL, Patrick. We have some NFL news, this is the time of year things start to come about. People are reporting to work, and that's how things go. But one person reporting to work not too happy. Davante Adams is not happy with his current situation. Now, is it because he went to a team solely because his really good friend was there, and then they
really great friend
fired him, and then now he's there in a pretty bad franchise by himself?
Kind of stuck.
Maybe.
I would say that has probably a
lot
to do with
it.
Yeah.
And so Coach
McDaniels,
he's still the coach. He didn't get fired.
He's still the coach. Well, remember,
because contract
didn't have enough money to fire him.
Right. So he's like, hey, Davante Adams, he earned the right to vent. He's allowed to vent. So Davante Adams is just, I guess he's taking that and he's just letting everybody know.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Davante comes out and he says, I just don't see eye to eye with the organization right now. And Josh McDaniels, he's got to try to play peacekeeper because hey, he knows they're a better team with Davante on the field. Problem is right now that they don't have a healthy quarterback, and Davante doesn't seem too eager to really want to buy into this rebuild.
Well, they have a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo can get his foot fixed up, he's a good quarterback.
He got that surgery, kind of. There's nothing like getting a surgery and then telling the world six weeks later.
Well, yeah, exactly. When you're already almost recovered.
Exactly, because then you show up to OTAs and people are like, "Wow, he looks amazing."
Exactly, and then
what a great PR move from the Garoppolo.
Jimmy, he's got something to prove here, because
he's on a prove it deal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his last gig in San Francisco, got beat out by. Well, he didn't get beat out.
He
kind of he got hurt. But if he could stay healthy, I'm telling you what, man, maybe they could do something in that Raiders organization.
Maybe they get to 8 wins this year.
Maybe
we could see it. I could see it.
I could see it happening. They play well. Devontae Adams. I mean, an unhappy Devontae Adams won't get you there, because you're happy, you play better.
Right.
You gotta be content.
Well, especially in Las Vegas, you don't want anybody to be sad in Las Vegas. It's supposed to be a good destination getaway.
So Devontae Adams has got to figure some stuff out here. But I think if Devontae Adams can.
Well, and it sounds like maybe he just needs to have a little conversation with the organization, because
maybe
look.
Sign up for BetterHelp or something.
He's got a lot of money on the books. If I know anything, Mark Davis, I don't think he has that much money.
Well, wait a second.
So maybe you trade him. Maybe you get some money off the books.
See, I don't know why Devontae Adams wouldn't be happy, because obviously Tom Brady comes on as a minority owner,
right?
And if we know anything,
we're trying to change culture.
Week 7, Week 8 rolls around. Garoppolo's hurt.
Tom
Brady's throwing the ball to you.
Yeah.
So you got to feel pretty good if you're Devontae Adams, actually.
You feel good. And he's not taking any of your money because he's got the partial ownership. So really, actually, Tom Brady is coming to play football to pay you to, in turn, help him.
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, that's something that completely blew over there. You're right. So the Raiders are in a great spot. I don't know why. What's Devontae sad about?
I mean, you talk about that. I mean,
listen, Patrick, no offense. If I came to a team because you were going to be quarterback and throw to me,
right?
But then you left, yeah, sad. If Tom Brady comes back and you're like, Tom Brady's sitting right there. Yeah, Tom Brady's, I think he meant a lot of.
Tom Brady's a little bit better than me.
Well, Tom Brady Tom Brady can mask over a lot of mistakes,
a lot of flaws,
whatever, a lot of anything,
You know how cool he would look in the black jersey too.
Oh, he was so
looks
sick.
So cool.
Yeah. Well, hey, Devontae Adams, hope you feel better. I'm sure you guys will figure it out. The kickoff is changing in the NFL. The NFL has passed a new rule that says you kick it off, it caught within the 5-yard line, fair catch, take you to the 25. Now, my question is, why don't we just make the end zone bigger?
Good question. Make it 15 yards wide. Look, NFL's all about improving that offense, all about improving the scoring. So let's make the end zone bigger.
Yes. You get more touchdowns.
Boom.
Less returns on kickoffs.
Boom.
More touchdowns.
More touchdowns. You sold me on more touchdowns, Josh.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm in. You say more touchdowns, I'm in.
I mean, think about how many drives just fell short. I mean, we make the thing 15 yards. Seattle Seahawks are 2-time Super Bowl champions.
2-time Super Bowl
with Russell
champions.
Wilson.
John Harbaugh never has to go for it.
Never. So, exactly. Think about how Ravens 2 years ago might have won the Super Bowl.
Last year, Tyler Huntley beats Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
Make the end zone bigger if you're gonna. That's what you want to do.
If we want to have significant rule changes in this game to make it safer and improve the viewing audience, there's only one way to do it: a 90-yard field.
I mean, or I'm just gonna say this:
throw it out there.
20-yard end zones.
Josh, is that a little too soon?
Maybe too soon, but I'm looking at
big of a step.
I'm looking at the safety and the future liability of the league,
and
I'm looking at concussions, and I'm saying, hey, why are we just stopping at making a 15-yard end zone? Because we all know, then that still leaves plenty of opportunity.
It does. There's a whole lot of
for concussions, for returns. I mean, we could be proactive here, or we could be reactive.
Yeah,
I choose to be proactive
on that side. I agree. And I think you make it 20 yards big, you're valuing the players, Josh. And that's because you're giving them more space. And
longevity. We're talking about they have less distance to run.
Yeah, you're saving guys across the league, and you're looking at less collisions into the stands, less collisions with photographers and videographers on the sidelines, because you open up the field for the players to actually do their job. We're there to watch the players. I'm not there to watch a cameraman get trucked.
I agree. Yeah. So, and that's the. I think the NFL they gotta see this, and they gotta understand that if this is the direction where they want to go, this is the way they should go.
Yes. If the NFL wants to make real player safety change, you expand the end zones.
Yep, and that's enough said on that. But hopefully, I'm sure
they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. I mean, if we really want to see change, college has to make the end zones bigger first.
Well, right, because they're the step, or maybe even the XFL. XFL doesn't, maybe that's a breeding ground for it. But
hey, once we are owners of our Delaware expansion team, maybe we can.
Well,
make that happen.
Because then we can get a seat at the table.
Yeah,
and we can start making some votes happen.
Exactly. So we'll figure that out. Cool. Now this is a part of the show that I've been excited for, Patrick.
Very excited, Josh.
And it's been a long time coming. It's time for Josh's way too early preseason top 10. Roll the music.
It's time to unveil the greatest list ever assembled. Probably. Here's Josh's top 10.
It's nice to have it back, Josh.
Okay, it's nice to have it back. Awesome. So here we go. It is the way too early top 10 going into the preseason of the NFL. Number 10, we have the Jets. Now, Patrick, I know what you're thinking.
Are they too low?
Are they too low? What are we talking about? Listen, the Jets, I think they get Aaron Rodgers. I think they get a little bit better.
I argue they got him. I'd argue they got Aaron Rodgers.
They got Aaron Rodgers. They get a little bit better. But I think when you're a miserable franchise, it takes more than a good quarterback to just flip things around.
Fair.
Okay? And maybe Salah's got a vision, a big plan, but Aaron Rodgers he's not the Aaron Rodgers of 2 years ago. And I think that I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying, but he's not the kind of quarterback who can come in and just completely change an organization single-handedly. And sure, they got some young wide receivers. I understand that maybe Breece Hall comes back and he just runs 1 billion yards.
Right.
I got to see it first.
You got to see it.
I got to see it first. I still think the Jets have something to prove.
What do we got at 9, Josh?
Number 9, we have the Detroit Lions.
Whoa.
Now, you guys are going to be like, over the Jets? This is way too high. What are we doing? Listen, the Lions had the number 1 scoring offense last year.
People forget.
They were this close in a handful of games that they lost. And if they made some big offseason moves in the draft, I think that puts them over the top. If they can, with Dan Campbell, with Jared Goff, I think they can figure something out. Now, sure, they lose a couple people to gambling, and if you do have a gambling problem, please call the number on the bottom of the screen. But I still think they figure things out here, and I think they can. I think they can get hot. If you've seen them, they are on a upward trajectory. I have the Lions at 9 and number 8. The Miami Dolphins.
Wow, Josh, didn't see this one coming.
Now, everyone's saying that Dolphins are finished. Dolphins are done. Listen, when Tua was healthy, the Dolphins were one of the best teams in the league, and I think Tua's back. Well, you see him with the camera.
And he's learned how to fall now, Josh. He knows how to fall.
And that's the biggest thing. He knows how to fall. He didn't know how to fall before. Because here's the thing. Prior to the NFL, he was just so good. He never even had
didn't get touched. At Alabama, didn't get touched.
And then now he comes in the NFL a little bit different. But listen, I saw him at practice. He's got the camera on his things. He's getting that POV view.
It's next level.
He's taking technology. He's working on his game. He learned how to fall. Dolphins are on the way up, and I think that if he can stay healthy, they can figure things out. Number 7, Cincinnati Bengals.
Really?
Now, I do think the Bengals, some people are going to say they're the top team. Some they're going to say top 3 team. I think the Bengals stay at 7 for now.
They stay.
Okay. I don't think they've made any major moves that put them over the top. I think they're pretty much the same team.
Orlando Brown Jr., though.
They were last year with Orlando Brown Jr., who kind of screwed himself out of a better deal.
Hey, that's on him.
But that's on him. And I think that the Bengals, Joe Burrow's good, and I think he's obviously the best part of that team. Again, poor run organization. They didn't make too many moves. And I think the teams above this list, the teams above them, I feel like earned their way to that spot.
Fair.
And then the Bengals. So that's where the Bengals.
Josh, who do we got at 6?
49ers. Now, they have probably the best roster of any team still, maybe, aside from one position.
Minus quarterback.
And that one position is pretty important. I understand that.
Sam Darnold. But
why have one quarterback when you can have three? And that's what I'm looking at, strictly from the numbers perspective. Well, if 3 quarterbacks who are like 50% good, that's 150%.
And you know what they say, if you have two quarterbacks, you really don't have a quarterback. Well, the 49ers said, screw it. We have 3 quarterbacks, which means we really have 1.5 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Bingo. And so I think they're going to be fine. And Brock Purdy comes back from an injury where we really don't know who he is. I'm sure he's going to be great, but even if he's not, guess what? Trey Lance is right there, and sure, maybe Trey Lance is still hurt, injury, and he's not that great. Guess what? I saw a guy courtside at a Golden State Warriors game that told me, okay, they're going to be just fine. He might be the guy. They're going to be just fine. They got Sam Darnold in there.
Yeah. California guy too from USC. They're fine, Josh.
They'll be fine. 49ers at 6. Number 5, the Eagles.
Philly.
Just signed Jalen Hurts to a massive deal. I think they're a great team.
Good for him.
Again, not a team that took too many steps in the offseason, aside from, I mean, they had a big draft pick and Jalen Carter.
Big draft.
But,
yeah.
But,
they got some dogs.
They got a lot of dogs, actually.
They got a lot of dogs.
Maybe too many.
They got some dogs with the other dog in them. And that's the question we got to wonder after they lose the Super Bowl. Joshua, we got a 4.
4 this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh.
A lot of people are saying they're going to drop off the face of the earth. I say Trevor Lawrence is playing the best football he's ever played. They got young weapons. Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming. If you look at the last 8 weeks of their season heading into the playoffs, they had the massive win over the Chargers on a big deficit. Trevor Lawrence is still figuring things out.
Josh, there's a chance that they lock up this division by the end of October. I think 1st to 7 wins this AFC South.
Exactly. And then what? Once you're locked into the division and you're in the playoffs, week 7, it's equivalent to winning the Daytona 500. You're in.
Yeah, you're in the playoffs.
You have a whole season to figure
it out.
To tweak things.
Yeah.
And listen, this is strictly because I think Trevor Lawrence might be insane this year.
He might be good. He might be really good.
And I'm predicting that. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. Now,
circle the wagons.
The Buffalo Bills they're going to be a top 3 team.
That's just how it goes.
Love it or hate it, they're going to be a top 3 team. They still have Stephon Diggs, who's going to be good.
Still good.
Josh Allen, who's going to be pretty good.
Still good.
They invested in their run game a little bit, right?
Sure.
So maybe if they have any run game,
anything's a bonus.
They'll be all right.
Yes.
Bills at 3. Number 2, the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, this is a good pick, Josh.
Now this is a team that went out and said, "Hey, that about maybe 6 weeks ago, this team had no quarterbacks on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like one wide receiver, and from there." They changed everything around. They signed Lamar Jackson. They get OBJ. They draft Zay Flowers. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about an offensive juggernaut with Lamar Jackson. J.K. Dobbins coming back. They re-signed Gus. They got Tyler Huntley, who's going to be big. They got Josh Johnson, who's
emergency quarterback. And I don't know if there's a role better for anyone on the planet other than Josh Johnson to have that role.
Exactly. Mark Andrews is still going to be Mark Andrews, number 2. Sometimes 1 tight end in the league.
Hey, defense is a top 5 defense that they
Patrick
return.
Queen, you still got. You signed Roquan Smith.
Mm-hmm. And you have the best kicker in the history of professional football.
Yeah, Ravens are going to be, I think, sneaky good this year. And then
it's not sneaky. We're telling you.
Oh, yeah.
We're telling you. We're out in front. They're
going to be
sneaky.
I think it's going to be good.
They're just going to be good.
And number 1, I mean, Todd Monken, though. Todd Monken.
Oh my, people aren't even talking about him.
Two-time national championship, Todd Monken.
Underrated? Underrated. Anyway.
Bingo. And this is the only time I can really talk good about Todd Monken because if things go south,
there is another 2 months that you can just love Todd Monken.
Yeah, exactly. And so number one, and this is pretty obvious, and they're number one until somebody proves otherwise.
Yep.
They're the default. Number one, Kansas City Chiefs. And that is Josh's top 10.
Boom.
Cool. Patrick, does the MLB have a problem with umpiring?
Yeah. Are we calling in the robot umps, Josh?
Well, that's the thing. So, Yankees coach
Aaron Boone
kicked out of a game.
Ejected.
And he says, even though I was kicked out, and this is very noble of him, I still think we shouldn't have robot umps.
A class guy to say that. Trying to keep artificial intelligence out of the national pastime game of baseball.
He said, this is baseball, not a bay with an AI.
Yeah, a bay. Yeah,
like
yeah,
a B-A-I.
I got you there.
S ball.
We're following.
And that's what he said. And Patrick, it does beg an interesting question. Is it because he's scared that robots would actually maybe be harder on him?
And that's a tough because right now is he getting the leeway to go out and argue with these guys where these robot umps would be, hey, get out of here, Aaron.
Yeah, robot umps, they're not playing around.
Mm-mm.
They say, Aaron Boone, you're done. And then by the way, he starts, maybe he wants to fight back a little bit. All of a sudden, robot arm comes out with like a saw. And then next thing you know, I mean, he is in
trouble
tough spot. And listen, if I've seen any movies ever made, I know one thing, and that's the second you start getting a little testy with the AI umps, things are not going to go well for you.
You ever watch iRobot? They did not like Will Smith. They didn't like him.
Yeah. So I listen, I baseball, but we know head of the ship, Manfred.
He'll figure it out.
He's gonna know he's gonna make the right decision when it comes to umps.
He always makes the right decision,
and he always makes the right. And we have faith in him. We have trust in him.
Pro Manfred,
and we believe that when it comes to whether or not to have a human or an AI ump, he's gonna make the right call.
100%, Josh.
And in whatever that call is, I have trust and I have faith that it's gonna work out because if I've seen anything in the past 5 years, 10 years, it's that when forced to make tough decisions for the sport, he makes the right one.
He's a shining moment for the league.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, how crazy would that be if the AI umps were just coming out and just...
Talk about controlling the game.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be perfect, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question.
I don't know.
I think it's up for interpretation.
We'll see what happens. Last thing on the docket, NASCAR preview. Now, we're racing this week the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. Now, Patrick, this is coming off the All-Star race.
Crown Jewel event.
We're coming off a race where Ross Chastain didn't wreck anybody, so it's
correct.
We're due.
Yeah, we are.
Kyle Larson won. Is he going to potentially just go on an insane
historic run
here? He might. And legitimately, I'm not, all jokes aside, he actually might.
He may. It's in the cards for sure. Josh, I'll give you my pick this week. I think it's Kevin Harvick. I think Kevin Harvick, it's final year. He gets it done. It's a 600-mile race. Takes a veteran to win this race. And if I'm not going to pick the guy you're going to pick, I'm going to take Kevin Harvick.
There's no rule that says you can't pick the guy I'm going to pick.
I understand that, but but we all know who you are going to pick.
Well, we don't know that. Okay.
Well, okay.
I pick.
Okay. If you know,
I go in every week with a blank slate, and I say, and I look at the cards, and I say, okay, who's going to drive well this week? Who do I think this track plays to their strengths? Whose cars are running hot right now? Who I look at a lot of factors, Patrick. It's not, I don't go in with a predetermined selection.
So
I go in and I roll all 40 drivers on the table every week for me.
Well, there's 37 this week. So
all 37. So but that just goes to show you.
Right. It's a tougher selection.
I'm going 40. There's only 37 running.
Right.
So I'm going to go.
Tell me why you're picking Kyle Larson.
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson, number 5. Listen, and this is, you've heard the song and dance before, but this one, this
is for real.
Look me in the eyes.
Look at him.
He came off of a dominant performance in the All-Star race. Prior to that, he has 2 wins and probably should have 2 to 3 more. And
looks good.
If Ross Chastain wasn't a driver, probably would.
But now you're giving Ross Chastain an extra 100 miles, which is a tough.
Does it scare me a little bit?
You're giving him an extra 100 miles to try to get the job done here.
A little bit, but I have faith because Kyle Larson. If I know one thing, he knows he learns.
He knows how to win.
And when he sees somebody coming that he's seen and that guy's doing a move that he's seen before, he knows what to do.
Right.
Kyle Larson, he might lead all 600 laps. Nah, he's not because he's probably gonna start in 37.
Yep.
But
he'll drive through the field.
He'll drive through the field. Give me Kyle Larson there. Cool. Well, that's a show. Thank you guys for listening, watching, and subscribing. If this is you guys, I was gonna say if this is your first time, I don't know who would be here if this is their first time.
Just get the McDonald's gift card.
Okay, if you guys go to Picks and Pancakes on Instagram and DM us, you guys can win not only a free mug, you will win.
You will win
a free mug.
You will. There's a McDonald's gift card.
And a $10 McDonald's gift card. All you have to do is DM us at Picks and Pancakes. Also, make sure you go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. And you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Go Memorial Day. Boom.
Peace. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a show on Memorial Day?
Yeah, I think so.
Memorial Day show.
We're back.
See you.
Peace.